Many people misunderstand casinos. They think it's a place based on luck or skill. In reality, it's driven by precise calculation, where probability rules and psychology serves as the ever-present attendant. Especially slot machines, those clanging, flashing contraptions. The mathematical principles behind them are the truly cold truth. Slot machines, they're crafted like works of art, flashing and roaring, dazzling your eyes and making your heart race. Many people feel these things are purely about luck, or that they follow some kind of cycle or pattern. That's heartbreakingly naive. Their core secret lies in the number called the return to player, RTP. But this number is widely misinterpreted by too many people. You might see a machine advertising 90% or even 95% RTP. Remember, this percentage is not a guarantee that you'll get back $90 for every $100 you put in. Absolutely not. This number is a minimum theoretical average legally mandated for the casino to meet, calculated based on the total money paid out versus the total money taken in by that specific machine, or all similar machines in the casino, over millions, tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of game cycles. It's a statistical concept that plays out over an extremely vast sample space, and has almost no practical predictive value for your results as an individual player over a few hours, days, or even weeks of gaming. Its most important function is to ensure that, over a sufficiently long operating period, the casino makes a stable, predictable profit thanks to that percentage difference below 100%, which is the house edge. That 5% or 10% difference isn't a rebate for you. It's a mathematical guarantee that ensures the longer you play, the closer you will lose to that percentage. The casino isn't afraid of you winning a little in the short term. It's afraid of you not playing. As long as you're there, that machine will operate according to its coldly set program, and that mathematical disadvantage, like gravity, will gradually pull your funds down to the ground, ultimately ending up in the casino's pockets. Slot machines achieve this RTP through a built-in random number generator, RNG, along with preset pay tables and symbol weighting. The RNG ensures that the result of each spin is random and independent, completely unrelated to the previous or next result. But the key lies in the symbol weighting and pay table. The program determines which symbol combinations win and how much they pay out, the pay table. Simultaneously, the program also sets the probability of each symbol appearing on the reels, symbol weighting. The rare symbol combinations that would win you big money are programmed to appear with extremely low probability. Some virtual stop positions aren't even visible on the screen. Meanwhile, combinations that don't win or pay out less than your bet amount have a much higher probability of appearing. The RTP is calculated as the mathematical expected value derived from multiplying the probabilities of countless different outcomes by their respective payout amounts and summing them up. This expected value is below 100%, with the difference being the casino's edge. This is how the casino maintains strict control over the total long-term return percentage, while ensuring each individual result is random. The flashing lights and sounds you see are just the surface. Beneath it all runs a mathematical calculation precise to several decimal places. This mathematical advantage permeates all games in a casino. The rules of every game are meticulously designed to ensure the casino has an advantage over the players. Blackjack appears to offer strategic space, but the key is the rule where the dealer acts last. This rule gives the dealer an asymmetric information advantage by allowing them to make decisions after the player has decided whether to hit or stand or busted. Even if a player follows the optimal basic strategy, they can only reduce the house edge to a very low level, typically around 0.5% to 1%, but cannot eliminate it entirely. The casino isn't afraid of you knowing basic strategy, because the vast majority of players cannot strictly follow it every time, and even if they could, that tiny mathematical disadvantage still exists, and over time, it's enough to grind away your funds. As for card counting, it's an advanced skill requiring significant practice and concentration. And casinos employ various countermeasures, including shuffle frequency, deck penetration, and even kicking out card counters. For the average player, card counting is neither realistic nor a standard way to combat the casino's mathematical advantage. Baccarat is so simple you only need to choose banker, player, or tie. Its house edge primarily comes from the commission, usually 5%, taken on winning banker bets. Due to the dealing rules, the banker does have a slightly higher probability of winning than the player, and the casino balances this with the commission to guarantee profit. As for the tie option, its alluring high payout hides an extremely low probability of occurring, resulting in a very large house edge. Baccarat's simplicity, paradoxically, leads players to bet more based on gut feeling, ignoring the precisely calculated mathematical trap behind the payouts. Roulette, especially American roulette, with 0 and 00. Their house edge is embodied in these two zero numbers. When you bet on seemingly 50-50 options like red/black, odd/even, or high/low, you're ignoring that there are 0 or double zero numbers that don't belong to any of those categories. In American roulette's 38 numbers, if you bet on red, there are 18 red numbers, but 20 non-red numbers, 18 black, +0 and 00. Your winning probability is 18/38, significantly less than 50%. The casino relies on these one or two extra numbers, depending on whether it's European or American roulette, to ensure that with every spin, the probability of money flowing to it is slightly greater than the probability of it flowing to you. Countless spins accumulate this into stable profit. Craps uses dazzling betting areas and a rapid game pace to hide its mathematical advantage. Some betting options, like the odds bets behind the pass line and come line, have a very low house edge, close to 0, because they pay out based on true probability. But novices are often attracted to the high-paying, high house edge bets in the center of the table, like hardways or proposition bets, which are decided on a single roll. The game's complexity, the players cheering, and the fast pace all work together to make it difficult for you to calmly analyze the true probabilities and house edge of different bets. Even in player versus player poker games, like Texas Hold'em, the casino still makes a guaranteed profit through math. It doesn't participate in the hands themselves, but takes a fixed percentage of the total bets in each hand as rake. Regardless of who wins or loses, as long as players are playing and there's a pot, the casino has revenue. This is a math-based business model. It provides a gaming platform and converts player wins and losses among themselves into its own stable income by charging a fixed percentage service fee. Sports betting, horse racing, lotteries, even esports betting are no exception. Betting companies use complex odds-setting algorithms, considering various factors that might influence game results, data, injuries, money flow in the market, etc., and then set odds that already contain their profit margin. Your analysis and judgment are attempts to compete against the betting company's more professional, comprehensive data models and information advantage, while also overcoming the mathematical disadvantage already fixed in the odds. Lotteries push the huge rewards for low-probability events to the extreme, using mathematically tiny probabilities to chase massive gains. The vast majority of bets constitute stable profit for the issuer and hype for future prize pools. Do you see now? The core of all these forms of gambling is not your luck, not your skill, not some so-called hot streak. Their deepest, most solid foundation is precise mathematics and probability. The casino's designers and actuaries are masters of numbers. They ensure that every game under long-term, large-sample mathematical scrutiny will inevitably result in overall player loss and overall casino profit. You are playing a game mathematically designed with a negative expected value. But the mathematical advantage alone isn't enough to keep people engaged. The casino's greatest strength is how it cunningly packages this cold mathematical advantage within powerful psychological manipulation mechanisms that significantly influence your brain and decisions. It utilizes variable ratio reinforcement. As Skinner's experiments revealed, random, unpredictable rewards are far more powerful drivers of behavior than fixed rewards, and once established, are extremely difficult to extinguish. Winning, or almost winning, in gambling is this type of reward. You don't know when the next reward will come, and this uncertainty fills each bet with anticipation and excitement. Your brain releases dopamine during this anticipation, creating pleasure and reinforcing the act of betting. Even after many consecutive losses, an occasional small win or a near miss is enough random reinforcement to maintain or even strengthen your motivation to bet. The near miss effect is one of the most insidious psychological tricks in casinos. Slot machine designers deliberately adjust programs so that combinations that are just one symbol away from a big win appear more frequently than pure randomness would dictate. Brain studies show that the brain areas activated by a near miss are very similar to those activated by actually winning. This makes you feel lucky, close to the jackpot, further fueling your desire to keep betting, even though mathematically, a near miss is functionally the same as a complete loss. The illusion of control also tightly grips gamblers. You might feel that choosing a specific machine, pressing the button with a certain force, mentally repeating numbers, or even the color of clothes you wear will influence the outcome. This is a common cognitive bias. Humans are inherently inclined to seek a sense of control in situations of high uncertainty. Casinos reinforce this illusion by allowing you to make irrelevant decisions, like pressing a button instead of pulling a lever, choosing specific betting areas instead of just tossing chips, making you believe you can influence outcomes through strategy or feeling, thereby ignoring the reality that results are purely determined by randomness and probability. Loss aversion and chasing losses are core psychological mechanisms that drive people into the abyss. The pain of losing is far greater than the pleasure of gaining the same amount. When you lose money, the pain and frustration override rationality, creating a strong urge to win back what you've lost to alleviate the discomfort. Although math tells you that increasing bets in a negative expected value game will only accelerate losses, your emotional brain convinces you that the next one will turn it around. This psychological drive makes you act against common sense, placing larger bets when you should least, entering a vicious cycle of losing more, wanting to win it back more, and losing even more. The design of the casino environment is a comprehensive effort to strip away your rationality and self-control. Enclosed spaces make you lose track of time, no windows, no clocks. Constant sound and light stimulation keep you in a state of high excitement and focus, making deep, rational thinking difficult. Free drinks directly impair your judgment. The emotional contagion from surrounding players makes it easier to be swept up in the atmosphere of frenzy or despair. All of this is designed to create a hothouse, detaching you from real-world anchors, immersing you completely in that mathematical vortex that is unfavorable to you. You think you're enjoying entertainment or pursuing wealth. In reality, you are prey acted upon by a precisely calculated mathematical model and a cunningly designed psychological trap. Understanding these mathematical and psychological mechanisms is crucial to realizing that gambling is not a fair contest. It's a system, a profit machine designed from its underlying code to its external environment to be disadvantageous to the player. It exploits the indifference of probability, the weaknesses of human nature, and your fantasy of quick success. You are facing a formidable opponent built by probabilists, statisticians, psychologists, and even neuroscientists. Any attempt to consistently beat the casino using feeling, luck, or systems that don't hold up to mathematical scrutiny is futile. That return percentage below 100%, that tiny house edge, it doesn't disappear because you're in a bad mood today. It doesn't concede because you desperately need money. It doesn't change its calculation because you've already lost everything. It is an eternal, objective mathematical fact. It's like a slow but relentless grinder that takes a piece of your funds every time they flow through it. The more you play, the more funds flow through, and the more is ground away. This is why for continuous players, long-term loss is almost a foregone conclusion. This cruel mathematical reality, combined with the psychological tricks that short-circuit your brain, trigger emotional impulses, and create illusions, form a powerful trap. It doesn't just devour your money. It devours your time, energy, relationships, credit, and even your health and soul. When you are swept up by these forces, constantly betting, you are gradually losing the most precious things a person possesses: rationality and the ability to make free choices. Your behavior is no longer controlled by your long-term goals and values, but is dominated by the primal urge to chase uncertain rewards and the psychological pain of avoiding loss. So, the next time you see a slot machine screen flashing, or hear the roulette wheel spinning, or see sports betting odds, remember those cold numbers. Remember the psychological traps hidden behind the excitement and the promise of rewards. Understand that you are not fighting luck. You are fighting a robust system built upon precise mathematics and cutting-edge psychology. This system is not your friend. Its sole objective is to make your money a part of its stable profit. Casino games are designed with extreme cunning to make you, through seemingly autonomous choices and judgments, slide step by step into a mathematical trap. Take blackjack, for instance. Basic strategy exists, and it minimizes the house edge. But this strategy requires players to memorize complex charts and execute decisions strictly without emotion. And casinos can slightly adjust or even increase their edge by increasing the number of decks, changing shuffle times, or restricting conditions for splitting and doubling down. More importantly, casinos can observe and identify players who strictly follow basic strategy or even attempt to count cards, and easily neutralize the slight advantage of counting or even ask you to leave by changing shuffle frequency or cutting into the deck mid-chew. For the vast majority of players, so-called skill and strategy have minimal effect against the casino's fixed rules and countermeasures. What truly dictates the outcome is still probability. Baccarat's simplicity is a disguise. It strips away complex rules and strategies, making players more easily misled by roadmaps and so-called shoe analysis. Players spend a lot of energy studying historical results, trying to predict whether the next hand will be banker or player. But this completely violates the independence of probabilities. Each shoe, each hand's result, has absolutely no mathematical connection to previous ones. The so-called road is merely a chance presentation of random outcomes with no predictive value whatsoever. The casino is happy to see you study roads because it keeps you engrossed in the game, making more bets, while its guaranteed rake and the huge advantage on the tie bet ensure its ultimate profit. Roulette 0 and double 0 are mathematical black holes. Their existence makes the probability of winning on all seemingly 1:1 bets, like red/black, slightly less than the theoretical 50%, 18/37 on European, 18/38 on American. This tiny difference accumulates with every spin, forming a powerful mathematical force. You might have a short winning streak, but mathematically, that 0 or double 0 will appear sooner or later and take the money that would have been yours. The more spins you bet on, the less the results will deviate from the theoretical probability, and that theoretical probability firmly favors the casino. Craps complexity is a mathematical smokescreen. Those fast, exciting, high payout single roll or center bets often have extremely high house edges, some exceeding 10%. Meanwhile, the bets with lower edges, like the odds, bets placed after establishing a point, are often not understood by novices or are ignored because they aren't perceived as exciting enough. The casino uses low-edge bets to get you to the table and high-edge bets to accelerate your fund depletion, while the rapid pace and noisy atmosphere of the game prevent you from calmly calculating and judging. Understanding the casino's mathematical advantage is just the first step to seeing the truth. Even more terrifying is how the casino uses psychology to keep you willingly engaged, even when you know the math is against you. They exploit deeply ingrained human weaknesses and cognitive biases in your brain. Variable ratio reinforcement is the core weapon. This type of reward is even more addictive than fixed ratio or interval ratio reinforcement. You don't know if the next spin or hand will win or lose. You don't know when a winning screen will appear. And this uncertainty creates constant anticipation and tension. Your brain secretes dopamine during this anticipation and tension, making you feel excited. Occasional wins or near misses are like an electric shock to a lab mouse, powerfully reinforcing the act of betting itself, making it hard to stop. The near-miss effect is a masterpiece of casino psychological manipulation. Studies show that seeing a slot machine screen that is just one symbol away from a jackpot stimulates a player's brain almost as much as an actual win. This feeling of just missed is misinterpreted by the brain as a positive signal, a premonition of being close to success, thereby strongly driving players to keep betting. Casino program designers meticulously adjust symbol weighting and stop positions to make these near misses appear more frequently than pure randomness, maximizing their yo-ho force on players. It's a programmatically manufactured hope, making you feel the dawn of success in failure and interpreting failure as a setup for next time. The illusion of control is ubiquitous in gambling. Players always feel they can influence random outcomes in some way. Pressing the button hard, blowing on the dice, wearing lucky clothes, choosing a machine that feels good. This illusion stems from human anxiety about uncontrollable events and an overestimation of the value of their own actions. Casinos further reinforce this illusion by providing trivial interactions, like letting you decide when to stop the reels, causing players to attribute accidental wins to their skill or feeling, and losses to bad luck or external factors. This attribution bias prevents you from seeing the mathematical inevitability, only seeing your almost hit potential. The gambler's fallacy is a classic cognitive trap. Players incorrectly believe that independent random events are connected. For example, if the roulette wheel lands on red several times in a row, they feel it's due to land on black next. Or if a slot machine hasn't hit a jackpot in a long time, they feel it's due. This thinking completely disregards the independence of probabilities. Each spin, each roll is a brand new event, and past results have absolutely no mathematical bearing on future probabilities. Casinos are happy to see you make this mistake because it means you will bet based on flawed judgment. For instance, believing that betting on black has a better chance and increasing your bet even though the mathematical probability, excluding 0, remains 50%. The availability heuristic also contributes. Players are more likely to remember dramatic stories of big wins, their own or others, and selectively forget or downplay countless small, continuous losses. Media reports of jackpot winners, scenes of cheering in the casino, all reinforce the impression that winning is easy and big wins happen all the time. This causes players to overestimate their probability of winning big and underestimate the risk of long-term loss. The brain more easily retrieves vivid, emotional memories while ignoring dry, cumulative statistical data. A deeper psychological mechanism is cognitive dissonance. Players bet despite knowing the casino's mathematical advantage, which is rationally contradictory. To alleviate this discomfort, the brain engages in self-persuasion and rationalization. For example, I'm just playing for fun. My luck will be better than others. My strategy is different this time. I'll win it back next time. You have to lose money to have a chance to win. These self-deceiving thoughts help players rationalize their irrational behavior, allowing them to remain in the game. And the design of the casino environment is a meticulously crafted isolation ward, designed to amplify psychological effects and weaken rational judgment. No clocks make you forget real-world time. Noisy yet rhythmic sound and light stimulation make it difficult to think deeply. Free drinks and attentive service make you feel relaxed and valued. Enclosed spaces and sometimes even low-oxygen environments can affect your cognitive function. When you are immersed in that high-intensity stimulation, your brain enters a state similar to flow, becoming numb to external distractions and your own financial situation. Time is stretched or compressed here, and money becomes weightless, meaningless chips or numbers on a screen. This system is so powerful because it doesn't just act on reason and desire. It directly intervenes in your brain's reward pathways and cognitive functions. The industry hires top mathematicians and statisticians to design game rules and payout rates, ensuring the mathematical advantage. They hire psychologists and behavioral scientists to design the machine's sound and light effects, game flow, and reward mechanisms, ensuring maximum player engagement and addiction. They hire architects and interior designers to create physical spaces that make you lose your sense of time and lower your guard. They hire data scientists to analyze player behavior for precise marketing and personalized jodo, e.g., sending you promotions or offering free services based on your winning/losing patterns when you might be about to quit. This is no longer simple gambling. It's a sophisticated machine based on science, designed to extract profit from human weakness. Online gambling pushes the efficiency of these mechanisms to the maximum. You can access it anytime, anywhere, with no physical isolation and no external oversight. The game pace is faster, allowing for more bets in a shorter time, thereby exposing you faster to the casino's mathematical advantage. The digital interface makes money loss more abstract, just a string of fluctuating numbers, weakening the pain of losing money. Various online incentives, VIP levels, and leaderboards further exploit social comparison and achievement motivation to drive players to keep betting. Algorithms can analyze your behavior in real time, identify moments when you might be getting frustrated or about to quit, and immediately push showdown messages or rewards. This makes online gambling more insidious and addictive than physical casinos. It condenses the entire casino onto your phone screen, leaving you constantly exposed to mathematical disadvantage and psychological manipulation. Understanding this, you will realize why winning by luck is accidental, while losing in the long run is a mathematical certainty. Casinos don't rely on controlling single outcomes. That's the RNG's function. They rely on the law of large numbers. They know that as long as players play enough times, the overall results will infinitely approach the mathematical expected value that favors them. Your personal winning and losing fluctuations are just the scenery along the path to this ultimate outcome, creating illusions and hope. Advice about how to manage your money, control your emotions, or find patterns can, to some extent, slow down the rate of your losses, but they cannot change the final outcome of losing. Because the house edge exists, every single bet, mathematically, has a negative long-term expected value for you. The more you play, the more transactions with negative expected value you engage in, and the overall result is naturally a loss. This process is like an invisible mathematical grinder, grinding away your funds little by little, relentlessly. At first, it might just be small amounts, causing little pain. Then, as you chase losses and increase your bets, the efficiency of this grinder significantly increases. Your fund balance will show an oscillating downward trend, with occasional bounces back that make you feel, "I'm almost there," followed by more drastic drops. Psychological distress and financial pressure intertwine, making you more likely to make irrational decisions, further accelerating this process. Eventually, the mathematical certainty will materialize, and your funds will be ground to dust.